qualifying. And, well, who knows? One of our curve cams there giving you, well, you can see the cloud above in the Eiffel region here as we give you the grid once again. Wittmann, Mortara, Rockefeller, Green, all starting on the option tyres. Timo Scheider, the first to start on primes.
And Matthias Ekstrom is going to start on primes as well. And the thing to look for here is how much time those people on the prime tyre lose in the first stint. Because if you try and defend your position, on the one hand, you're trying not to lose too much time or too many places that you'd have to remake in the second stint. But what you are doing by defending is going slower and costing yourself time going into the second part of the race.
I know we've had conversations with Hankook engineers, haven't we? But actually, the temperature here at the Nurburgring today is not that will give us the very, very best out of the option tyres. I don't think. It's not warm enough, I don't think.
No, the tyre degradation isn't going to be that bad. Now, when the sun breaks through, this is a track that warms up quite well, quite quickly.
Right.
But it is going to be, I think, cool enough to make the tyres last a long time.
Well, we're about to find out how it is going to play out because the cars are on their way to the grid right now. Wittmann, Mortara, Rockefeller, Green, then it's Scheider, Molina, Juncadella, De Resta. Good qualifying from Paul De Resta, let's make mention of that. Christian Vittoris. Then it's Muller, Tombe, and Maxime Martin, Robert Wickens, Augusto Farfus. Then it's Glock, Spengler, Tomczyk, Wehrlein, Felix da Costa, Hand, then Petrov, Ekstrom, and Paffett. There you can see track temperature is, well, it's under 20 degrees. Air temperature, well, 14.5. So, cars into grid order. And we await the lights on the gantry and the green flag from the marshal right at the back of the grid once he's happy that all of the cars are in position. The tension begins to build in the BMW garage, so too the Audi garages as well, and also for Mercedes.
That split between the option and prime tyre, just very quickly to say, you can only run the option tyre for 24 laps. It is a 49-lap race, so by definition you've got to use the primes for 25, whether you do that in stint 1 or stint 2.
So we await the marshal to give us the green flag at the back of the grid. He does so. So, 5 lights will come on, and when the lights go out, we will be away and racing as the engine note rises. So too the excitement as away we go. Good start from Mike Rockefeller. Jamie Green bogs down, but Marco Wittmann does exactly what he needs to do. He covers off that inside line. Jamie Green getting squeezed there and going back another couple of places.
And also Mortara was a bit slow away. Wittmann runs out wide. Rockefeller goes with him. Juncadella is wide. There's an Audi in trouble. Is that Molina? Possibly, because there's one slow car being dodged around at turn 2 and almost getting together with Timo Glock. I think they've all survived, but certainly I think it is Molina who is in trouble right from the off here.
So Wittmann doing exactly what he needed to do and getting away. We're watching Wehrlein and Joey Hand going through the pack there. Vitaly Petrov runs wide. So too does Timo Glock. There's a race leader just going through. P2 is Rocky.
And then it's Mortara third. Jamie Green is running forward. Juncadella is fifth. Scheider, look, is being mobbed now by those on the option tyres, and it is Molina who has got a problem. And for whatever reason, that is an Audi that has dropped right to the very back of the field. Now, is it even going to survive the first lap? If it does, it'll have to pit, I would have thought, but Molina has got a problem. Tomczyk there tries to make a move as they work their way up towards the NGK chicane for the first time.
Augusto Farfus just dives in behind Timo Scheider. You can see there as the rest of the pack come through this NGK chicane. Don't need to be taking too much curb there. Can really hurt your tyres by doing so. Augusto Farfus up the inside of Timo Scheider here. And Augusto Farfus goes through. The first lap is completed then with Marco Wittmann, who has pulled out a 1.2 second lead already over the current champion Mike Rockefeller. Then it's Edo Mortara. Jamie Green is P4. Juncadella is 5. De Resta P6. Farfus P7.
Maxime Martin goes through ahead of Christian Vittoris. Remember that Scheider is on the prime tyre, so he doesn't want to be giving away places, but he doesn't want to lose time in defending needlessly, because if he can be within about 36 seconds of the race leader going into the second stint, he's got a chance of the strategies aligning come the end. So Scheider dropping back as those on the option tyre are starting to work their way ahead of him. Vittoris is on the option tyre and he goes through, and Miguel Molina is in the pit lane.
We're on board with Christian Vittoris just as he nudged Timo Scheider a little bit. So Vittoris goes through. We're on board with Timo Scheider right now, and there is that car in the pit lane, as you indicated would be the case.
Punctured tyre. one of the left-hand tyres has just come off. I think it was the left rear that looked like it had been punctured. And now Miguel Molina is going to rejoin the race, and he will be ahead on track of the race leader. The Audis, I think, got themselves together. Bit of damage to Jamie Green's car as well. There was the problem. It is a left rear puncture. So they get Molina back out on track ahead of Wittmann. And if he were to get in the way, that would let the Audis draw a bit closer, wouldn't it?
Oh, we will see. Okay, so Wittmann is the leader then with a 1.3 second margin. Vitaly Petrov all over the back of another Mercedes there. There is Timo Glock. So Marco Wittmann, the leader. We go on board with Glock and Gary Paffett around and up the inside of Timo Glock. They get very much together, and Timo Glock out onto the curbs and then onto the grass. Let's see it from on board. Well, there's that just a little nudge there from Gary Paffett as the two got absolutely together there.
And then Glock decided that retaliation would come this way, and so at the next corner, the Schumacher S, he rather shoveled Gary Paffett off the road. So he's got his place back, and that in the pit lane as well is Matthias Ekström, and this looks like a long stop and a wheel is stuck.
Oh no! This is the man that's P2 in the championship.
He's back in the race, but can he stay on the lead lap? That's the question. He's going down the pit lane, and what was all that about? We're getting a replay here. That's the Paffett-Glock situation. Okay, that's not to do with Ekström. He is about to rejoin, and he will stay on the lead lap, but Ekström, more than ever, needs a safety car to save him now.
I just wonder whether it was Ekström running up on that curb, and what did I say about taking too much curb here? Whether that caused a problem, don't know.
I think that was Da Costa's Red Bull BMW we saw, rather than Ekström. I'm not sure on that shot whether it was the right car, so we need to have another look at that. So we'll see, but the leader has gone through already, 1.7 seconds up. Wittmann getting away from Rockenfeller, but now we're looking at flying lap time. So Wittmann, a 23.3. What has Scheider done? A 25.2. He's losing about 2 seconds a lap, and the estimation would be a second and a half. So at the moment, those on the prime tyre are losing a bit too much ground.
Jamie Green losing out there as both Juncadella and Di Resta go through. There you can see Danny Juncadella and Paul Di Resta, the two Mercedes there, and Jamie Green in the Audi now, losing out on 2 places. Here it is in replay. Juncadella just diving up the inside there. Jamie Green, well, he was forced out wide, to be fair. That also allowed the opportunity for Paul Di Resta to come through as well. Look at this. Some brilliant driving there from Danny Juncadella in terms of helping his teammate behind him.
Absolutely right. And so there you've got the race leader, Marco Wittmann, who is already, after only 3 laps, 11.4 seconds up the road from Timo Scheider. Factor into this a pit stop as well, which is going to be 26 seconds for the entire drive-in, drive-out. And Ekström is back into the pit lane. That's the championship hope gone. Ekström is making a second pit stop. He's back into the pit lane. And I don't know what it is that's caused the drama for him, but this is, I'm afraid, looking like the end for Ekström, because they're saying go to the garage. That's it. That's the championship hope over, surely.
Well, he qualified really, really badly. He'd always got an awful lot of work to do. They dive into the back of the car there. It's always going to be a big ask for Matthias Ekström, but it's gone beyond being a big ask to a no hope, I think, now.
But it's not usual that you find a mechanical problem with one of these cars particularly. I know Scheider had one in Moscow, for example, but it is rare, and so Ekström, even if they got the car back out, he's a lap down. So a result of any sense, really, is now out of the window, I think, as you look at Farfus and Martin running together. They are 7th and 8th, and they're on the option tyres. Still, it is Scheider who is the best of those on the prime, and he's now 13.4 seconds back.
So Wittmann leading. This is Juncadella and Paul Di Resta that we're watching here, P4 and P5 on lap 4 of 49 here. It's DTM at Nurburgring with Marco Wittmann, the championship leader, leading the race from his pole position. Mike Rockenfeller, the 2013 champion, is P2. And Mortara is P3. Here comes our race leader, Marco Wittmann, then through the NGK chicane. And Mike Rockenfeller's last time around was 1.6 behind. We'll see what it is this time over the timing line when Marco Wittmann gets to it. So Wittmann maintains the margin, 1.6.
Molina in the garage as well.
Also in, yes.
Interesting. 2 Audis. And in both cases now, it's the rear of the car where the attention heads. And also, is it significant that these are both Abt cars. Now there is a replay of contact between Ekstrom and Glock from early on, and then he got involved with Petrov as well, so maybe that whack has done something to the rear of the car, and Molina with his puncture dragging it back may have had some damage done in that area as well.
Maybe so.
So Wittmann leads, and the gap 1.6 seconds over Rockenfeller. Then it's Mortara running third, and how about this, fourth and fifth, Mercedes. Junqueira going better than ever ahead of De Resta. Then it's Green, Farfus, Martin, Vitoris and Scheider still rounding out the top six, but he's been losing about 2 seconds a lap now, and that is more than expected.
So we're on board with Christian Vitoris now down the long back straight here, absolutely nailing that Mercedes. Here is our race leader, Marco Wittmann. 1.7 the margin last time around. Back with Vitoris through the NGK chicane now, chasing down Maxime Martin ahead. So Wittmann from Rockenfeller.
Replay of Spengler having had a moment, but then he finds Petrov ahead of him having an even bigger moment, and he goes rushing off the circuit. Back on he will get, no damage, but he's lost a whole heap of places. There, Petrov on the option tyre, so that's why he was making ground up early on.
Hans-Jürgen Abt is with Verena now.
Hans-Jürgen, what is the problem? What happened? Why did two of your cars end up?
Matthias was hitting by another car, and the suspension was broke. And also with Miguel is the same situation. The suspension was broken after a hit from a competitor.
So the dream is over for Matthias Ekstrom winning the championship?
Obviously, yes. We will see what's going on, but we had bad luck today, and okay, we should continue, but in the end, the chances of a championship are very bad.
All right, thank you very much, Hans-Jürgen Abt. Back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Verena, for bringing us that from Hans-Jürgen Abt there. Suspension problems with both cars there.
Yeah, I mean, it's coincidence in a sense that they're both Abt cars. It's the same kind of hit, wasn't it, in the back? The Jamie Green incident, I think it was, with Miguel Molina, he was close, and Timo Glock we saw in that replay with Eki. Now there is Jamie Green, who is sixth. He's got Augusto Farfus, who was on pole here last year, tucked up behind him now. Farfus, am I right in saying, is the second of the BMW drivers at the moment?
So as we watch through the NGK chicane then, there's Nico Müller, then Timo Scheider. Timo Scheider has Robert Wickens right behind him, then it's Martin Tomczyk.
Now Scheider needs to be on this evidence within 48 seconds of Wittmann when he makes his pit stop. This is Scheider in replay losing out to Müller, who gets ahead of him. Müller, bear in mind, is also on the standard tyre, so that is the first significant change that we've had amongst those cars. So Müller now becomes the man to watch on the standard, and Scheider is off the road, and so is Müller. Audi is self-destructing. They've got themselves together at turn one, so now it is all bets off. This potentially could have been a battle for the lead of the race, and what has happened is that Scheider was busy defending from the Mercedes, and they may have got a touch. He goes up the inside, Müller turns in, he hits Scheider. Dear, dear.
Well, let's see here. I think Scheider just took a little bit of a tap there, didn't he, from Wickens.
And Müller was the innocent party. He had the line, he was turning in, and suddenly Scheider, having been given a big nudge there, just had no option but to go up the inside. Right, so back to the standard tyre brigade, who now inherits the unofficial class lead. Robert Wickens is that man. He is on the standard tyre. He will now move up to being the best of those on the slower tyre for this first stint of the race, so he now becomes rather important. The man who won here last year needs to press on if he's got a clear road ahead of him now after that skirmish. Of course, what may happen is that the stewards may want to have another look at the evidence of the collision.
Yes, of course. And, well, you can see the damage sustained on the Timo Scheider car there, and into the pit lane, and sure, that damage looks repairable in the work of a moment, I'm afraid to say. So Timo Scheider then dives into the pit lane.
You saw Ernst Moser from the Phoenix team looking on. Here it is again. Yes, that was a definite assist from Robert Wickens. There was nothing that really Scheider could do because he'd been given that extra energy into the corner. Yes. There wasn't much that Müller could do because he was turning in, and suddenly there was a car out of nowhere up the inside on his bit of tarmac. And that's it for Scheider. So that's 3 Audis we've lost. And Muller's car will have got some damage as well, so its aero will be distorted if nothing else.